Welcome to our story, sailing from Tonga 1400 miles to New Zealand on our boat.
A Rival 34 built in 1979 in Southampton, England. This is our real life sailing adventure story. Oh no. Quick look.
I know. Just about dropped tea in weird. What's happened? We've only got 200 grams of cheese left, so I'm going to go over and get another kilo. The shop is still open. I'm in a near panic here because of this cheese situation. Whew. I got the cheese. Frozen cheese. 1 kilogram of delicious Treasury cheese. Oh, it's delicious. This is the passage we will be doing from Tonga, the Friendly Islands, to New Zealand in Whangarei. We are here at the moment. We're anchored here in
Pangaea. It's the town of Pangaea in the Lufuka Island.
Yeah. So we will be sailing out here and down here, and if the weather holds up as it is at the moment, we will be stopping for 24 hours in the Minerva Reef, where loads of other boats stop. It's a very popular place to wait for the weather window down to New Zealand. So it's 350 miles from our location there to the North Minerva Reef, and then from there, hopefully, like we said in the weather, the wind will fill in from the east or southeast, and we can carry on our passage all the way down to Whangarei, and then we're going to actually go into this here, and we're going to Marsden Cove Marina, isn't it?
Yes.
Marsden Cove Marina.
Now we're going to take a look at the all-important weather. So this is today. We're going to go every 24 hours. So this is today, Wednesday at 1 o'clock. We have easterlies 18 knots. So let's move 24 hours ahead. We're going to be somewhere down by there. It's again easterlies. It's going to remain east for the next 3 or 4 days because of this large area of low here, producing winds like that. Friday is a northeast 15 knots, really good sailing. Saturday, there's a blue hole developing here.
So we may go in the reef.
We may stop in the reef and wait for the hole to fill in. Let's go to Sunday. It kind of fills in because there's something else coming from the west, another high out to the west trying to fill in. And Monday, it really becomes irrelevant, the weather by Monday, because it's just too far ahead. But as you can see, they've got another high out there to the west trying to work its way in and pushing this high out here.
Unfortunately, after we moved, all the little fish are being left without cover, and the big fish are eating them. We killed all the little fish. And we're off.
We are off to New Zealand.
Yeah, do your thing then.
Oh! Goodbye, Tonga! Hello, New Zealand! Woohoo! Yeah! Get in there!
Oh, he is.
Let's hope for a good passage.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
I'm a little bit nervous because of what to expect. You know, we are going south, where the weather's a bit cooler, a bit more unpredictable, out of the trade wind zone. So, yeah, let's just play it cool and get this done.
Great start, as you can see, and we're just on a single reef main. What is it?
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Single.
Have them on the world.
Single reef main.
You didn't believe it, would you?
We're doing well.
Couple of hours in, things are going great. Luke's got his top off, enjoying a bit of the late Tongan sun before we head south to cooler climates.
Yeah, that's my thought process behind it.
Get a bit of tan in now, was it?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at this beautiful desert island to my starboard side. Stunning.
That's insane. Now there's nowhere to anchor there, but I wonder if anyone lives there. Bonkers that is. Change the sails a bit. Got Genoa pulled out. Starboard. Just put preventer on the mainsail, around the cleat, and I put it onto the winch. I'm just giving it a little bit of tension. So she's a good one. All's well on board. I was looking back here. I swear I could see a couple of boats heading this way, but I can't see them now.
We were particularly nervous about this passage. We had been thinking about it for at least a year. Adam was a bit more nervous than me, weren't you?
Yeah, I've just heard stories of... Sorry, there's a lot of ants here. Heard stories of people getting absolutely hammered on the way down, because it's just... You get a lot of low pressures moving from west to east to southeast down there, coming across the path going down, and there's no way to hide on the way down, really, is there?
Yeah, and bearing in mind the time of year when you go down from the tropics down to New Zealand is just at the end of the New Zealand winter, and just in the beginning of basically their like spring and summertime. So it's you got a chance of running into a big low pressure system which will take you out. And I think a couple of weeks before we left, we heard of a guy that come down and there's a massive low pressure system coming over New Zealand, and he was about 200 miles away from New Zealand, and he heaved to and he had to get rescued and he lost his boat.
The reason why we're sailing to New Zealand at that time of the year, because in the tropics it was just on the cusp of being cyclone season, so everyone in that area are either going to go north or they're going to go south to get out of that area. That's a bit of cheese. Big block of cheese in there.
Nice. This is going to be a cheesy episode.
Yep.
I think it is. I just feel so thrilled and blessed to have such a massive block of beautiful cheddar, gorgeous cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely.
You like it now, do the sauce?
The sauce is okay. Sausage is nice.
I'll stick your toe out like that when you
He was joking, Ed. I think we've gone through the island bit now, haven't we? So we're going to go off, haven't we, Ed?
well, let's have a look, shall we? There you go.
Yeah, we have. We can go off, turn off.
Yeah. Start heading down.
Heading down towards...
I was going to say Tonga again then. New Zealand. Well, maybe the Reef. The
Oh, we're going down to the Minerva Reef.
Minerva Reef all the way down there, possibly. We'll pass it. See what the weather's doing.
I'd like to go in there for at least 24. So now we've cleared all the reef system, we can relax a little bit and just get into beautiful sailing.
It's gone 7 o'clock, so
Still light.
yeah, the nights are going to be shorter and days are going to get longer the further south we go now. So that's going to be nice. Short nights and long days and long evenings, nice summer evenings, like we used to get back home up in the northern hemisphere. Oh,
Oh, we're so excited.
it's different.
It's so exciting.
Because being in the middle of the earth, time just doesn't change. It gets light about 6 AM and gets dark at 6 AM. You have 12 hours of darkness, 12 hours of light. But now as it's starting to cool down south, things are starting to change and there's excitement in the air.
Exciting.
I like it.
Really exciting.
It's different. Got one reef in the main, keep that in for tonight.
What's due to pick up, is it?
Slowly pick up throughout the night until tomorrow and then the
Gonna be
next
in
day.
the morning then.
15 to 18 to 20. One reef in the main should be fine.
Yeah, it should be just about.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. A very different morning to yesterday. We've got 17 to 20 knots.
Have some fantastic sailing, some really good speeds. I think we had a nice current with us. We're doing about 5.5, 6 knots, and I like to put some music over beautiful sailing scenes to try and express how much and how fantastic and beautiful sailing can actually be. And hopefully with the music and the sound of the water, it will convey that to whoever's watching it.
A lot more wavy, but we're going really, really fast. 6.5 knots.
One thing we haven't mentioned so far on this trip is we are sailing to New Zealand, and New Zealand have some of the most, or the most, strict biosecurity in the whole world. And one of their requirements is if you're sailing a vessel into their waters, you must have a clean bottom. A lot of people think that to have a clean bottom, you've got to have it lifted up professionally and get a certificate, so when you turn up at customs and immigration, you got a certificate to prove that you've had the bottom of your boat professionally cleaned within 30 days of arriving in New Zealand. However, that is not the case. We've done lots of research on this and asked loads of cruisers what are they doing, and most people go in the water themselves and clean their own bottom of their own boat. Thank goodness we only got a 34-foot boat and it's not too wide, otherwise it would have taken a lot longer than it did. But back in the other anchorage, we spent 4 to 6 hours going in the water, cleaning Atlas's bottom, so she's the most pristine we've ever seen her. She's absolutely beautifully clean. We got rid of all like the little limpets and the little like shells growing, even on the bottom of the keel and the bottom of the rudder, all the nooks and crannies. And then after we done all that, we took some photographs and video on the GoPro, and then put all them photographs and video on a memory key, so when we arrive in customs and immigration, we can give them that memory key and they can go on the videos and go on the images and have a look at the timestamps, and that'll be proof enough to prove that we've cleaned Atlas's bottom within the last 30 days. That's how you've got to do it.
Morning.
Another day.
Another day, another dollar, as they say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last night was bumpy, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had a couple of big waves in the cockpit, didn't we? Massive.
Yeah.
You could hear all the... We stayed inside most of the night, only popping up. Person on watch was only popping up now every now and again because the waves were too big.
Yeah, I think we're just 24, sustained about 23, but we went through some really rough patches because around here there's a lot of volcanic activity and the depth goes from like 2,000 meters to 300 meters and all over the place. There's spots. And there was bits of it when it was like really shocking.
Really steep.
Steep overturning waves.
Yeah, breaking into the cockpit and you could hear the drain plugs in the cockpit
guggling away.
All the water.
Yeah.
So there's no chance we could have been... Well, you could have sat in the cockpit, but you would have got absolutely soaking, so there's no point. It's quite bumpy today as well. It looks quite bumpy out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it'll calm down a bit, but...
I was asleep off watch last night and I had the alarm to say it was my turn to go on watch. I woke up and I went out, leaned out into the cockpit to find Adam half in the locker on the right hand side with all the stuff all over the floor, and I was like, Adam, what are you doing? It's 2 AM in the morning. He was looking for...
Well, something was tapping. Going tap, 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 and I don't like noises. I don't like halyards banging on the mast. I don't like any sort of repetitive tapping noise. It drives me nuts.
What did it not to be?
It was the vinegar. It was in the condiments cupboard. It was rolling and going tap, tap, tap. But I thought it was in one of the lockers, so I took everything out the locker. I took everything out the pan locker looking for it. About 3 AM. We are running out of pegs. We've only got about a third of the pegs we had, so whether you find this interesting, I really don't know.
We can't get wooden pegs anywhere.
We can only wash a certain amount of washing at a time. Because as Luke said, you just can't get wooden pegs anywhere. It's becoming ridiculous, and we don't want plastic pegs. They could go brittle in the sun and then they fall in the sea and pollute the ocean. On that. At least when the wooden ones finally break, the wood just disintegrates and the steel in the spring would just rot away. So that's the main problem of the day, really.
It's a major
peg
disaster.
situation. Yeah, can't dry
It
anything.
really is a crisis.
On board.
The pegs, yeah. Because as you know, in our videos we always have washing hanging up. And if we don't have washing hanging up, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It's not good, is it?
It's not good, no.
I'm
It's a bad
particularly worried about this.
I know you are particularly worried. Just debating whether to pull a reef out of the main to get latest forecast, I think. The problem is there's quite a few showers around. I'd rather have 2 reefs in it to get a squall come through rather than 1.
Yeah, our speed is good.
Yeah.
5.2 to 5.5 knots.
Yeah.
Can't compare to that.
No.
Well, we haven't got the full Genoa out yet. We could get all the rest of that out.
Yeah. So on the way down, there's a place called the Minerva Reef. Basically, it's 2 atolls, a north reef and a south reef, like this with an entrance into both of them, and you can actually go in there and anchor in the middle, because it's like 10 meters deep in the middle with sand. And a lot of cruisers, when they sail from New Zealand north, or from Tonga down to New Zealand, they can stop off in this area and just chill out there and anchor in the middle, and it's a protected reef from all the weather systems. It's, you know, good protection there, and they can stop there and then you can wait for some weather to blow through, or just to have a quick rest and rest the crew. We decided to stop. It was, well, we just got a updated weather forecast from land, and it's good idea for us to stop in the reef for at least 24 hours and reassess the weather, because it looks like if we miss the reef and carry on to New Zealand now, we're probably going to hit significant headwinds for a while, because the forecast is still a bit up in 7 days in the future. So I think we're going to set the pole up on the port side, put the Genoa out, and make course alterations to starboard.
At the time, we only had a Garmin InReach Mini to get weather while offshore. Basically, it's like a little satellite device, and you can get like text weather on there. Or what we relied on the most was people at home back in Britain and Finland giving us weather by text updates, but it was only limited to like 200 characters, so very little short sentences. And of course, the main thing, you could not visualize it, so that's all we had. We couldn't download grid files so you can see a map and a weather chart, just text messages.
She's out from the pole, but we're doing 5.5 to 6 knots, and it's too fast. We need to do no more than 5.1 knots. Otherwise we'll arrive there before daylight tomorrow, and we can't do that. So we're going to bring in a little bit of head sail, just slow the boat down a little bit, but that means it's going to be a bit more uncomfortable on board. Well, we've just eaten. Tonight's menu was sausages, mash, green beans, peas, and then for afters we had pineapples and fruit cocktail.
It's like a 3-course bloody meal.
My belly is pretty bloated, to say the least, but it was nice. It was a sausages. Did I mention we had sausages with that? Didn't I? Just done the dishes. It's gonna get dark in less than an hour, and still on course to be there about 6 AM tomorrow morning. The Reef, Minerva Reef. Luke was saying, oh, I hope there's other boats there. Imagine turning up there and there's no one there. We're the only boat. We'll be like, oh no, what's happened? Hopefully we'll only be there 24 hours. We should get a weather window to get out and get to New Zealand, but you never know. 7:45 in the evening, so we should be getting there around first light tomorrow morning. This is the reef in question. We pass in through here. It may look like there's no water here, but there's actually 20 meters of depth on there, so the chart's not quite right. You can anchor up in this reef. This is an anchorage. It's well protected, 360-degree protection, and it's sand and loads of bobbies in there. Bommies, just to be careful of.
The reef is over there somewhere. It's less than 5 miles. You can't see anything. It could be nowhere. It's totally invisible. It's very strange.
When we got to Minerva Reef, we had, in our imagination, we thought we'd go in there and it'd be completely empty. We'd have the whole place to ourselves, but boy, were we wrong.
Where is it?
Land ho. I see reef over there, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 masts. I doubt that you guys can see it on camera, but you can see the reef breaking over there. See him, look?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Yes, there's boats in there. There's quite a few. Woo!
It's so weird.
In the middle of nowhere.
Literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
You'd run into it.
Yeah. You would run into it. So we got reef all the way here, here. There's the gap. It's a large gap right there. We're going to go right through the centre of that gap inside the reef. The reef goes all the way up and around there. Go back. Make sure we're okay. See, look. See the shallow bit on the end there, deep in the middle.
It's 20 meters, so we'll see.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're pretty much inside now. We're going to get a bit of engine going. I'll get a little bit of Genoa out actually. The Sailing Brothers are officially inside the Minerva Reef.
Very windy.
It's got 22, 23 knots blowing in here, but there's no swell. We're going to head way over that side to get some protection on that side of the reef there. This is so strange. Hey, we're going to be anchoring somewhere in between these boats up there. We want to try and get close to the other boats so we can jump in our dinghy when it's not so windy and go over, introduce ourselves and try and get some internet, some weather basically.
Steal internet.
Not internet out here.
Want some weather.
Just some grid files. Have a look at some weather forecast to be nice. We are anchored up. I'll just show you. It's all clear, sand. I couldn't feel anything on the chain as I was putting it out. About 40 meters down. There's a big rock down there, but it's not going to affect us. The chain's out all the way over there. We're anchored in about 10 meters of water. Everyone's really friendly already. Everyone's waving and cheering, saying hello as we come in. We passed that boat there and he was like, congratulations for making it down here. There we go.
Call this reef conquered by the British.
Yeah. Welcome to the beautiful Minerva Reef. Oh, it's so heavenly. The sun is shining. It's a gentle breeze blowing. There's not 2 to 3 foot waves coming in and hitting the boats, and everyone's having a whale of a time. Oh, welcome to the Minerva Reef.
At least it's crystal clear and blue.
The water is insane. The clarity is beautiful.
But it's a little windy, a little rainy, a little cold.
It's crazy.
And people are going back and forth on their tenders in this. They must be absolutely bonkers to stay on your boat. It's too dangerous. You know how big the waves are.
Some of these waves going past.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a good night.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful day. Before we start, Alexia, hopefully you can hear this. Probably your last Minerva radio. Enjoy your trip.
Every morning, Alex from Blue Barrel, one of the main boats there, he did a radio chat every
Community
morning.
radio, wasn't it?
Yeah, every morning. So just telling us what the weather was and everything. The Minerva Reefs are a group of 2 submerged atolls located in the Pacific Ocean between Fiji and Tonga. The North Reef, where we were anchored, is 3.8 miles in length by 3.6 miles wide, and it's a great place to rest up while waiting for a weather window to head south to New Zealand. This is like swimming pool water.
It's incredible. So blue.
And mad, isn't it?
Right in the middle of the Pacific.
Supposed to be able to walk somewhere on this reef, but where?
Not now.
It is. There's nowhere to walk around here.
We don't want to go any further because we don't want to get into trouble.
Bommies at the bottom of the dinghy.
It's an incredible place. The watercolour is absolutely sensational. I'll get
mad.
the GoPro, the camera water in there. I'm going to go in for a quick tip.
Yeah.
Have a little look.
Yeah. Coming here with good weather and wasn't too many waves, then quite flat in here. I've seen it online, quite flat and nice.
Yeah, we saw the old sea dog.
You stand on the reef, you can walk on it.
The reef.
The swell's way too big today for that. What an incredible place, right in the... Well, it's not in the middle of the Pacific, but it's in the middle of nowhere.
Even though the reef was an incredibly beautiful place and there was like 15 to 16 other boats there at the time we were there, we felt incredibly isolated because we only had our Garmin InReach Mini, and it seemed like everybody else had Starlink because you could hear them on the radio saying things like,
WhatsApp,
I'll text you on WhatsApp, I'll send you pictures on WhatsApp, and then we were like, we just felt a bit out of the loop really, and everybody else was analysing the weather and going over each other's boats and meetings. Good morning everybody. I think we've been here for about 3 or 4 days now. I'm just shocked because I can see the reef. 3 or 4 days and we are getting itchy and desperate to go. Today though, this morning, we're up quite early because it's low tide, and we're going to join a group of people from the anchorage here who have organised a walk on the reef. So we're going to get to walk on the reef. How exciting is that? It's a bit of a dingy race, but we're going to lose. This is our max speed. Wait, we go faster.
The faster we go, the more wet I get. Making our way over now. It's a mile dinghy ride, so a couple of hours in our dinghy.
It's like a community event.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of dinghies going over.
This is the moon. It's really wet.
Yeah. How cool is this? We actually got to walk on the reef. It was an incredible experience. We took the dinghy all the way to the where the reef started, anchored up in the sand, and just walked on there. It was just incredible, wasn't it?
Was, yeah. And this reef is hundreds of miles from any mainland. There's nobody living there. It's just a piece of rock right in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So this is the Minerva Reef, and we're actually standing in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, just on a reef. It's quite incredible. It's like, never been to the moon, but it's almost like it's moon sort of rock. It's weird, isn't it? But we expected it to be dry, and it's not. It's like ankle deep everywhere. But what an experience. You won't be able to experience this again. Well, we might be able to if we come back around this way, but we shall see. This is a sea cucumber. Put your hand next to it, Ed, for definition.
Walked along the reef. This is the open ocean in the Pacific. Amazing is that? I didn't think you'd be able to walk on the reef here today.
Fish in the water. Get stuck.
Tide in it.
Listen.
That looks like a fish.
Is it a fish?
Oh,
yeah.
Unless an eel has it in its mouth.
Is it an eel?
No, it's a fish, but I think he might be dead.
He doesn't look very healthy.
No, I think he's just hiding from
Just
you.
for hiding.
Look at these fish here. Loads of fish here. Look at that.
Whoa, check that. It's sea. We're not making a right for it. They're all ready. What's it saying?
There's a bit of coral. While we were in the Minerva Reef, people were saying on the radio, oh, come around, I got steak and lobster, getting their meat out their freezers and stuff. And we were left with eating out of corned beef out of tin cans and spaghetti and stuff. It felt so envious, didn't we?
Yeah, we were really envious. They had all their Starlink and they were chatting to people.
I'll go in the shadow by here, it'll be fine.
Oh, we don't mind. I mean, it's...
We visited a neighbouring boat for a visualisation of the weather, as there was talk around the reef there might be a weather window to go down to New Zealand.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can pick it up easily.
come right here in the shadow, it's fine. You can have a look on the lappy then. I'll run through it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I'll go from 12 till 12.
Just call out the days where you're on.
Tuesday, today, 12 o'clock.
Windy then, isn't it?
Windy,
I bet guess the centre of the lows here.
yeah, it starts coming over then. There's a bit of a hole, but then there's a change maybe coming in from the west there.
What
It's too far away now.
What is that change from the west? Is that the bottom of the low? High?
That is... We are leaving the Minerva Reef. We've been here for 5 days. Anchored up here in this amazing reef in the middle of nowhere. It's been lovely, but we're starting to go potty because just it's very isolated here, even though there's another 16 boats here. Anyway, today we're leaving and we're heading to New Zealand. Just zoom out on the chart plotter. Sorry, there's light on the screen. We're heading to Whangarei, all the way down here. It's 810 miles. The wind, all important wind. For the next, I'd say 3 days, it's a southeasterly, blowing up like this. So we're going to be pretty much hard on the wind and the weather the first 3 days, and then I think it's going a bit more east. Should be able to ease the sheets a bit more. We're hoping to get to our destination within 7 days. That would be perfect. We'll be leaving in about an hour's time with the rest of the fleet. It's going to be one big race.
Just about to bring the anchor up in a couple of minutes, and nervous about this one. I always say that, but particularly nervous about this one. We know we're going to have strong winds. We're going out and there's strong winds out there, like 25-30 knots, hopefully not 30 knots, but we know it's going to be not very nice sailing for 7-8 days, but we have to get to New Zealand, and this is the goodish weather window we've seen, so we're going to go for it. Go about 20 knots at the moment. It's quite bumpy. Got some large breaking waves on the front, going BAM! And scaring the absolute crap out of us, to be honest, but it's okay. Tightish onto the wind. Angle's quite good, to be honest. It's not doing too bad. We're gonna have 3 days of this, and then the wind will go easterly, so hopefully we won't be so close all. We probably will be, but it's looking okay, you know.
We left the reef with the pack, and as we said, the weather forecast was pretty rubbish. A lot of southeasterlies, and we got to go southwest, so it was really close hauled sailing. And then we basically had 3 days of just beating into like 30 plus knots of wind.
Horrible.
It was really hard. Our little boat was just slamming into the waves. And at one point, towards the end, I felt like I was just losing my mind. Totally losing my mind.
I think the worst thing for me was we could have sailed the boat to 5.5 knots, but she was slamming so violently on the front, it would just judder and vibrate the whole boat and just sound absolutely horrendous, and you're thinking like the boat is going to break apart. But the thing that really got to me was the whistling, the wind whistling through the rigging. It done it for 3.5 days, 24/7, and that just got to you in the end. Even when you're sleeping, you could feel like you could hear the wind whistling through the rigging when you sleep. I mean, people, there's tough sailors that sail around the world in the Southern Ocean. They must put up with that for weeks. But 3.5 days was enough for me and Adam.
Waves have got really steep within the last half an hour. We're struggling a little bit, keep hitting them. They keep slowing us right down and knocking us off course. It's only just started happening, so maybe it's just this part of the sea. It's nice now, smooth. You get them. Still really choppy and cold. Got to get some gear on tomorrow. Nearly shivering. The wind is really cold. Sea temperature's dropped. The wind is coming off a cold sea. Good morning, everyone. Do I look tired? Pretty tired today. Didn't get much sleep last night. About 3 AM we put a third reef in the main. So it was absolutely blowing a hoolie, and we are beating the boat up. We're just sailing into this weather and into the waves. It's going to continue like this. Today's Friday, today and Saturday, and looks like Saturday night we may be getting high 20s, low 30s, and there's no way on earth we can ever even consider trying to beat upwind in that. Any boat of any size will struggle in that, so we'll see how it goes. It's going to generally pick up on Saturday. 22, 23, 24, 25 knots, and Saturday night's the worst. If it gets too bad, we'll just be pushed off course. We'll be sailing across the wind, and then we'll have the seas on the beam, which isn't good, so we may just heave to Saturday night. But that's it. It's Friday today, so we'll see what happens with that. Luke was panicking last night. wondering whether we should have left or not. We left with all the fleet.
Made up our own mind.
Couldn't stay in the reef any longer because everyone was leaving and we'll just run out of water. The weather window, it's not good to get down to New Zealand. It's just beating into weather. They say gentlemen don't sail to weather, and you can see why.
We have reduced the sail today because Atlas was slamming on the front so much. It was, you laying downstairs and it was vibrating the whole boat, sounded absolutely awful. Just thought it just didn't feel right, so we had to reduce sail to go a little bit slower to reduce the slamming. Because we believe we want to get there safely, but we've got to look after the boat first. And if you look after the boat, she'll look after you. If you don't look after the boat, something's going to go wrong and then she can't look after you.
The ocean drowns the decks as the drains struggle to drink the salty bubbles. Staring through the crystal-covered glass as the ocean swallows up your troubles. Beat into weather with tortured sails, so hard damn she tries. Picked up and slammed on the ocean bound as she creaks, screams and cries. Got a weather forecast just now off our Garmin in Reach. Get a basic weather off that, and today is going to be southeast until 11 o'clock. Pretty much 22 to 24, 25. This afternoon is going east southeast and remaining east southeast, gusting 25, possibly a few more gusts stronger than that.
Doesn't sound like much, does it?
No. And remain like that overnight and into Sunday morning. But it's not that strong, but if you're running down with it, that's fantastic, it'll be great. You know, you just run on twin head sails, you'll be absolutely flying. But because we're trying to keep course, we're having to have these seas just forward of the beam at the minute. And that's increasing the wind, and then we're just going into all that sea. So everything's just coming over Atlas, all the waves are just going boom and filling, going crazy. So that's what makes it much worse. I put that storm jib on yesterday, ready, so I'm gonna hoist it after breakfast. I've literally got tiny patch of Genoa out, not doing anything, so it's just going to run on the triple reef main and the Hank-on storm jib. "25, 26 knots of wind."
Three and a half days that we were beaten to weather was pretty difficult, to say the least. We couldn't eat properly because we couldn't cook properly. We were always on 30 to 40 degree heel. It was difficulty sleeping. We were in a constant state of anxiety and worry because the boat was taking a bit of a beating into like 30 plus knots with 2.5 meter swells and waves hitting the front, and we were constantly worrying about what happens if this happens, what happens if that happens, and it was not a really pleasant time at all.
Okay, not a good idea to be filming. Well, we just took a massive wave over Atlas, filled the cockpit and soaked the chart table on my bed. Oh, my bed's soaked, look. I'll put that door on, I think.
Well, that's pretty good.
Cockpit drains are working.
Can the eagle-eyed viewer see that our oven is not moving? We've actually locked
Smash it to pieces.
We've actually locked it down in place, and it was smashing itself to pieces. It was hitting itself there on here. That's how much it was coming up. It was coming up to here and going bam on there because the waves are making it thing. We've got a lock on the back, so we've locked it into place so it can't move and smashing itself to pieces. Sit down a bit, then. Usual position, but it's cut this time.
Morning all, 7:45 in the morning, Sunday. Last night was, I just want to start swearing. I wish I could just swear on YouTube, effing blind and everything, and just turn stuff over in the boat and just smash windows and stuff. Like 32 knot gusts. Yesterday evening, last night, and in that, the seas were reported 3.2 meter seas on our beam, and they were just getting destroyed by waves. It was rubbish. And then rain came along, and the wind disappeared for like 4 hours, like gone, not a breath. And then we were left as a bobbing, empty Coke can on the surface. Horrendous. Anyway, set to improve today. Come from the east a bit more, and the rest of the week's looking better. So hopefully today onwards things are going to improve on board, the weather's going to improve. Because quite frankly, I've had a guts full. This passage has been absolutely beep, really like that. Anyway, hopefully this will be enough of the negative, enough of the moaning. I'm going to eat my oats, have a coffee, and get on with the day.
got to try and keep positive thoughts on the boat. It's going to calm down this afternoon, and then that'll be it. Well, there's not much more to go through. Atlas is looking after us. We've got to hang on, that's what we've got to do. I should be wearing a life jacket, yeah, but I'm spending most of my time inside, so I can't be bothered putting a life jacket on right now. Not how we wanted this.
There you go.
A nice beautiful sailing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, today we passed a huge milestone for us.
Huge.
We've been sailing now, I think, coming up to 3 years cruising.
Yeah.
And today we passed the point where we have sailed halfway around the world.
We've gone from the Western Hemisphere to the Eastern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
And from this point onwards, for wherever we sail, we'll be getting closer to home rather than further away.
Yeah.
We've actually sailed Atlas halfway
Halfway around the world, this boat.
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it?
Absolutely amazing. Yeah. Congratulations, Luke.
Miles down.
Yes!
Yes!
Halfway round the world! Hooray!
Now if the weather can improve here, it'll be nothing.
I know. That's sun. Today is Monday, and I got a feeling that this week is going to be a better week than the weekend we had. The latter part of last week with all the horrible beating the boat to death. And
It's different from yesterday.
it's a nice idea now, isn't it?
Yeah. So wind slowly petered up yesterday, and then last night we started having rain squalls, which pretty much continued until 5 o'clock this morning. So either of us got very little sleep, and because we were up all night reefing and unreefing, so weather's been a little bit unfair, but hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to change and we'll get a bit better for us, please. As you can see, the difference from yesterday is shocking, in a good way.
Luke's on a spring cleaning mission now.
I'm just gonna make the boat tidy. How's that? Beautiful!
Looks nice, Luke. This is my first wash in 4 days. Woo!
Days like this really make up for it. We've got beautiful conditions. We haven't even got a full, an early full, we've got a single reef main, and we're doing 6 knots and 13 knots of breeze, and Neffy's working in the background. This makes up for the 3.5 days of hell we went through. But this is pretty damn wonderful. I get better sailing than this. Best open ocean sailing you can ever get. No swell, beautiful wind, going along about 4 to 5 knots. So comfortable, absolutely stunning. This is what every sailor goes out there and searches for.
6:30 in the morning and the spinnaker is flying. We've got about 7 knots of wind from behind. Perfect for spinnaker flying. May it continue. I will be really grateful.
And it just dropped off and dropped off over the next day or two to absolutely nothing. We were just left becalmed, floating around hundreds of miles away from New Zealand and the reef, just stuck. I think the high pressure came and moved along, and we just left there, just bobbing around with nothing.
Beautiful 4.5 knots.
Let's go through our position, stats, and our current weather. Today is Monday 13th November and we are on passage from Tonga to New Zealand via the Minerva Reef. We left the reef, Minerva Reef, 4 days ago, and here are our daily mileages. So this is New Zealand, this is where we're going to. Here, Whangarei, I think it's called Whangarei, probably pronounced slightly differently. That's where we are, and there's Tonga all the way up here, where we came from. And this is the Minerva Reef, where we left 4 days ago. Lovely little reef here. We currently have 373 miles to go. The weather, the current weather we are experiencing is mainly east-southeast, around 10 to 12 knots. Over the next 24 hours, the weather's going to ease to about 8 to 10 knots, mainly from the east. Gail, one of our amazing patrons, has been providing us with weather through Predict Wind throughout the passage to New Zealand. This is an animation of what was going on around us during the latter parts of this passage. The dark blob you can see is a tropical cyclone Mal which formed over the Solomon Islands and headed to Fiji, then continued its path southeast over the Minerva Reef where we were days earlier. We were not in any direct danger due to the path the cyclone was going to take. However, we would advise not to hang around and motor if necessary.
The reports were it did hit Minerva Reef 3 days after we left with 50 knots in that reef. We don't know if any boats were there at the time, but we were left, when we were becalmed, we were left in a really vulnerable position because there's a lot of low pressures there, and people were telling us on text, get your engine on and motor, which we hate doing, but we had to.
We motored for days, didn't we?
We did.
To get there, filling up the diesel, just to get to New Zealand, to get to safety before before a big low pressure just rolls in and wipes you out. Engine's on, unfortunately. Not enough wind. Doing 5 knots now, good current with us. We'll switch it off if it comes back.
Engine has been on for 6 hours.
Our engine on the boat is only a little mini 2-cylinder Buka engine, 20 horsepower. It's pretty much as old as the boat, and our prop is pretty old and pretty worn out as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So it was tough.
It's okay, you know. Needs must and all that. You may be asking, or you may ask the question, or you may not. How do we sleep at night with the engine on? Really, really noisy inside. But when we're off watch, we sleep anyway. You get used to it. It's just like a drumming in the background, and you just go to sleep. It's not like an annoying. It is an annoying noise, but it's not like an annoying noise like a noisy neighbour with drum beats or something like that. It's a constant tone all the time. You just sleep there. It's been the hottest day so far. We thought it'd be getting really, really cool and cold, and we wearing all our gear, but it's absolutely been roasting today. As you can see, I've got my top off. It's been really, really warm. Beautiful, like a summer's day. It's quite crazy.
Last night we turned the engine off at 1 AM after the winds filled in from the west, which wasn't quite forecast, and it stayed with us all night. And now it's more like a west-northwest, around 8 to 10, 8 to 12 knots. We're doing nearly 5 knots speed over ground.
Just had a turn in the weather. We've got 12 knots now, really close to hold. Why, I do not know. We just had to get the spinnaker down. The cockpit is an absolute stinking mess. There's stuff everywhere. Jim Bob, Neppy, sorry, has gone back on. We're close hold now for the time being. It's meant to be coming around to the north behind us. It feels really wonderful to be heeling over this way. I don't know why, it just feels nice. Feels like we're probably sailing again. Oh, slight sea and nice healing. We can't beat the canoe. This is what sailing's about. Heeling over is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I love it. Ah, it's lush. What she's built to do, isn't it?
Yeah. You wouldn't believe we're less than 200 miles away from New Zealand, and look at it. It feels like a British summer's day.
It does.
It's warm, but not that warm, and you've got a cool breeze coming off the ocean.
Yeah, you got a chilly wind.
Yeah.
But if New Zealand is sailing like this, we're going to be in for a right old treat.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, and we only have about 105 miles left to go to Whangarei, New Zealand. It's so close, and yet so far, because there's no wind. Had the motor on since last night. Forecast today is nothing. No wind today. Should be filling in this evening and tonight. So should be able to sail our way from tonight and get there sometime tomorrow morning, hopefully. I'm peeing diesel. Luke's looking at me, totally gone off. Just topping up our diesel tank after we've been motoring for 30 hours in total.
Yeah.
Disgusting 30 hours.
Motoring here.
It's so dead. The weather.
Terrible.
Yeah, we were going to do a test and see how many litres we got, but we've done so at 30 hours of motoring, so it's at least 40 litres. And then we got this spare, which is there's about 12 litres in there. We're not going to put that in a tank, because if the engine runs out of diesel, then we got 12 litres emergency, and we need to keep that spare. Then we know we can't do any motoring until we get to the marina and motor into it, basically.
Yeah. I just had the worst lunch in history because we're running out of food. I had a tin of tuna, a tin of tomatoes, and some bread which was as hard as nails.
I think that's delicious.
That's what I had for lunch.
Tin of tomatoes and tuna.
Things are getting really dire on this boat.
There's a lot worse foods than that.
It's terrible.
You should be grateful for what you're given.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I'm just looking forward to some real food.
Grateful for what you're given.
McDonald's.
Isn't it? That's not real food. You should be grateful for what he's given.
Steak.
So what
Pork chops.
our patrons allow you to eat. The more patron money we get, the better food we can eat.
Yeah, true, isn't it?
Nah, everything goes into the boat. One thing I've noticed is there's a lot of jellyfish, and there's a bubbled one there. It's a man of war, I believe. Even the birds are lazy today. They're just sitting on the sea, doing nothing. But there's a mighty cold wind, isn't there?
Yeah,
That
cold.
wind is cold.
It's really cold.
I've been doing my regular. I've been opening up the thing, opening up the engine bay and checking.
Yeah, I've done that once since we started.
Going around with a torch and checking all around the engine for leaks and stuff, and using the digital thermometer, and on top it's actually 56 and 65 degrees in two different places, so you can tell the engine is 10 degrees cooler than it was back in Panama, because the sea temperature's down by 10 degrees down this end.
I haven't seen any of that. Must be on a different boat.
Yeah, bro. Embarrassed now, isn't it?
What's going on?
No, no, go away!
Just making sure my shoes are nice and clean and sparkling. I don't want to bring any invasive species into New Zealand. So I've been using a toothbrush, just making sure the bottoms are nice and clean. Beautiful.
Last night on the open ocean. I'll miss it tomorrow now. Because we'll be in New Zealand.
I
Can you
know.
believe it? I can't believe it.
It's weird, isn't it? It's felt like a really long passage, this one, isn't it? Because
it was tough.
the first 3
It was
days,
3.8 knots.
and then we were in the reef for a week, and then we left there, got battered for 3 days, and now we've just been another 3 days or 4 days out here, just drifting around with hardly any wind.
Well, motoring.
Loads of
30
delicious motoring that Luke really enjoys.
I think, how many hours of motoring have we done? 36 hours, I think. I don't know, I've got it written down.
Loads. Too much. Yeah. Just thinking what are we going to be doing this time tomorrow.
Eating a barbecue with some cheese.
Having a barbie.
Delicious.
A couple of beers. Oh, cold frosty beers.
4.1 knots.
Bit nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Next time we go out, we've got a little surprise coming up in a couple of videos time. We've been going on about offshore communications and visualizing the weather, and we've been hinting that, we would love something to visualize the weather while offshore. Well, somebody's made an amazing generous donation by the name of Tim, and we'll answer it in a couple of videos time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim.
It's going to be a total game changer for us. The channel. Just everything in general, really.
So you join me out in the cockpit. The engine is on because there's no wind. And there it is. And unbelievably, we can see a lighthouse flashing, which is 27 miles away on an island off New Zealand. So you can actually see New Zealand from here. It's part of New Zealand. How amazing is that? We'll show you on a GoPro, but you'll never see it. 27 miles away. How incredible. New Zealand, here we come. Can you see me?
Yeah.
We've been pulled over by New Zealand authorities. Unfortunately, we got 2 tons of illegal substance on board, which is high-class cheddar cheese. And we're in a lot of trouble. We're under arrest. Brilliant, isn't it?
Towards the end, we finally picked up some amazing, delicious wind, and we sailed all the way into Milestone Cove in Whangarei after quite a difficult passage.
It was over 2 weeks, wasn't it?
Over 2 weeks to try and get down there, yeah. But the relief of getting there was just unbelievable, amazing. Smell of vision? Go on.
Smell green grass, cut grass,
Yeah.
lawns and meadows and grass.
Yeah.
Of New Zealand.
Yeah.
Green pastures of New Zealand with cows and steak. As long as your eye can see.
Sun's coming up behind me. Some real cool places around here. There's islands out there to explore.
It's so cold.
Lovely here.
Good sailing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get out and sailing. We've been welcomed. Haven't we, Ed?
Yeah. It's Keith. Kiwi Keith. See the cat over there. And then I watched you go there. And I thought, that's Keith with his yellow cap. We've got delivery.
Cookies.
Oh, it's windy. Gusty. Let's get that main down, I think. Look,
Yeah, it's really
just snap it there. It's gonna push us right over with the engine.
the main house, I think.
Just on our way into Milestone Cove Marina, where we're gonna get ourselves checked into the country, and then we're free for 6 whole months to explore New Zealand.
There's New Zealand birds and houses.
The houses look very South Pacific. They're like Aussie houses, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Very cool.
Well,
Congratulations,
that's
Luke.
the passage done from Tonga to New Zealand. 17 days, including 5 or 6 days
The Reef.
in the Minerva Reef.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have beer.
Congratulations!
Yes!
Yes!
Yes!